I have the most delicious veggie burger for you that is going to guaranteed stay together when you're eating it. It's delicious. It's a great source of whole grain. We're using bulgur here, also a rich source of plant-based protein. Let's get started. So fun. I have my pan on high. I'm gonna add half a cup of water. To that, 10 ounces of baby spinach. In we go. So I'll give this a cover and we'll set this to the side. So while that's steaming along, I'm just gonna finish with chopping of my shiitake mushrooms. We're shooting for about a cup, that's about 3.5 ounces, and take the stems off. You can either compost them or save them for a vegetable stock, and then just sort of finely chop them. Now, the key to a vegetable burger that holds together is a binder, which we have egg. We also have bulgur wheat, which really helps hold everything together. But also you need to make sure that all of the vegetables in your burger are finely chopped. So about like this. You can also throw in quartered shiitake caps into a food processor and just pulse for a few times. I can smell that spinach. See what's happening? Ooh, looks good. Happens fast, happens fast. 10 ounces is pretty convenient because that's usually the size of the container of the little baby varieties that you find in the supermarkets. Okay, that looks great. So it's really important to make sure that you squeeze as much cooking liquid from steamed greens like spinach when you incorporate it into a veggie burger. That's just gonna help make sure that the flavor is nice and assertive, it's not watery, the texture is great. And I find that a potato ricer is one of the best tools for this. You can also just use a clean kitchen towel. You can also press it against the side of a metal colander. But if you've got a ricer, use this. Okay, and you just gently press. All right, that looks pretty good. So we'll set this aside and let this cool for a bit before you chop. Your fingers will thank you. So, reheat the pan to about medium-high, and to this add 3 tablespoons of olive oil. We've got a lot of vegetables to cook here, so you definitely want to make sure you have plenty of oil. All right, so let's start with our mushrooms. Again, this is about a cup of finely diced shiitakes. You can also use cremini if you want. I love the shiitakes. I think they have a really nice flavor. Great immune boosters also, and a really rich source of protein. I think shiitakes have the most protein per gram of all the mushrooms. To that, add 1 chopped yellow onion. You see the dice is pretty fine here too. Wasn't joking when I said you gotta keep it finely diced. Add a little salt. And we'll cook this until the mushrooms are nice and tender. The onions are translucent, about 6 to 8 minutes. Mushrooms and onions are looking great. Mushrooms have a little bit of color on them. Smells fantastic in here. So to that, add 2 cloves of minced garlic. And since I'm on a pretty high heat here, I'm on medium-high, I wanted to save the garlic towards the end so that it doesn't get too toasty. We're just gonna cook it for about a minute. All right, so while that's cooking, I'm going to chop up some fresh cilantro. This adds a really nice, bright flavor. I started with 1 cup of packed leaves. And we're just gonna do a once over. Love the flavor of cilantro. If cilantro is not your thing, you could also add parsley. That'd be really delicious here. All right. This is smelling good. All right, to that, add 1 can of pinto beans. I've just drained these and rinsed them. This smells so great. Add a little bit of pepper. And let's transfer this to a large bowl. All right. So let's let this mixture cool down just a bit because we are going to add an egg to it and we don't want the egg to curdle. We'll let this hang out. And let's check on the spinach. Spinach has cooled down. Let's give him a rough chop. Let's add it to the bowl. I mean, this already looks so wonderful. I just want to grab a spoon and dive right in. To that, we'll add the cilantro. And 2 teaspoons of fresh lime. This also just kind of wakes up all the flavors in there. Some more black pepper. And a teaspoon of kosher salt. Now for the fun part, get to mash. This is a great task if you have little hands in your kitchen. Find the masher is always the tool that everybody wants to use. So the goal here is to mash up some of the beans, but you want to leave some of the beans whole. That just helps provide a nice texture. The starch from the beans and the bulgur wheat will actually help bind these little patties together. Okay, let's add the whole grain army. I have 1 cup of cooked bulgur wheat. Bulgur wheat is pretty quick cooking because this has been parboiled, but it still has the bran intact, so it's a whole grain. Makes a really quick, nutritious, filling side dish. To that, add a 1/3 cup of whole wheat breadcrumbs. And then I have 1 egg that I lightly whisked. I'm gonna switch over to a spatula for this. So stir this mixture until it's nicely combined. Should look nice and vibrant and green. Gorgeous, gorgeous. All right, this looks wonderful. So cover this with plastic and let this mixture hang out in the fridge for about 30 minutes or so. That's gonna make it easier to form patties. Waiting time is over. It's been half an hour. Enough time to let this mixture sort of set a little bit. So to form the patties, I like to use a 1/2 cup dry measure. This just helps ensure that you're getting a nice even patty. So this makes 6. I think I'm just gonna form 3 for the time being. 2, 3. Okay, but we are not done here. I promised you a veggie burger that was going to be delicious and flavorful and crunchy. So we're going to go the extra mile and crust it with some cooked bulgur wheat. Just lightly press it into 1/2 cup of cooked bulgur. And this is going to form a really, really nice, satisfying crust. So these make dynamite burgers, but this is also a really, really great mixture if you're looking for a vegetarian breakfast sausage. Just form them a little bit smaller, but this guy plays great with eggs. Okay, so I already have my pan on medium heat. Definitely use a non-stick here and add 1½ tablespoons of olive oil. So add the patties, and we are not going to disrupt them for 8 minutes. We want to create a really, really nice golden brown, crispy sear. All right, so it's been 8 minutes. You can kind of see the bulgur that's in the pan is nice and golden, so good indicator that we've got a beautiful crust awaiting us. Ta-da! Gorgeous. Okay, so we're gonna flip these guys over and let them cook for another 8 minutes, again on medium heat, nice, slow, steady burn, so that we get a beautiful golden crust just like this. All right, it's been another 8 minutes. This is smelling so nice and toasty and delicious. Just take a little peek and see what we've got going underneath. Gorgeous. Okay, we're done. Slide that off to the side. Let's get the fixins ready, the best part of the burger. So I have a whole grain bun here and a tray of goodies. So I'm gonna start by adding a little bit of dijonnaise. Dijonnaise is just a mixture of 1/2 part mayonnaise, 1/2 part Dijon. Let's take our patties. So nice and crisp and crunchy. So it's a burger, so you can really do anything you want. If you want to add some crunchy romaine, if you want to add some fresh herbs, feel free. I'm going to go with some sliced avocado. We're bringing the California to this burger. And I always like to season it with a little bit of salt, pepper, and some fresh sprouts. I think this is a nice way to use up sprouts. And then some pickles, if that's for you. And then we have this gorgeous, gorgeous guy ready to go. Yum, yum. Looks good. All right, let's give it a little try. Yum, that looks good. Mmm. Really, really nice texture. Can you hear that crunching? That's that toasted bulgur. Can't wait for you guys to try this. This is so delicious, really nice and nutty and toasty. Great texture from that toasted bulgur wheat. You ready to up your veggie burger game? Want more healthy recipes like this? Don't forget to like and subscribe.